I had a frequent flyer for about 6 months. Literally only while she was pregnant. That would come in and get a tuna foot long on white with olives, bell peppers, and an offensive, downright impossible to close without overflow amount of mayonnaise. She wanted this sandwich heated in the microwave. A drunk guy came in and asked for a 6-inch flatbread with just mayo, garlic mayo, and ketchup, and he wanted it toasted. I made many a gross sub for late-night drunks. One that stands out particularly is a foot-long seafood with an entire bottle of light mayo and 3 whole tomatoes double toasted. Before getting fired, I would often have a customer that would order a foot-long honey wheat with nothing but onions, hot sauce, mayo and black olives. It smelled of feed and sickness when it was done being toasted. A foot-long with lots of marinara sauce and pickle juice. Not pickles. The juice from the bag that they came in from the supplier. Nasty. I worked at Subway for a few months during my freshman year of college. The grossest thing I ever made wasn't a sub but a salad I made for an older lady. She came in right before closing and she asked for a salad with shredded lettuce, cut up ham, and mayonnaise. So much mayo. I squeezed a few lines on her salad and looked up at her to ask if that was too much, and she said, "Oh no baby, I'm going to need a lot more than that," and I ended up squeezing what seemed like almost half of the squeeze bottle on her salad. The top of the lettuce ham bowl she asked for was completely covered in mayo like a blanket of creamy snow. I swear the ratio of mayo to lettuce was like 3-to-1. She even got extra mayo in a little cup on the side, just in case. It really stuck in my memory because I remember she got so much mayo we had to prep another bottle of it before we could close. Former Subway employee, this elderly man named Larry would come in every other day and get a foot-long tuna. He would eat one half that day, the other half the next day. Tuna on wheat with nothing except handfuls of jalapenos. I mean one huge fistful on each half and then some. You could barely close the sandwich. I'm sure in his old age he had perhaps lost some sense of taste. But my God, I don't know how he even could taste the tuna. Not particularly gross, I suppose, but definitely stood out. I worked at Subway for some time with really close friends. I dare say that we created some of the nastiest garbage known to man. The worst would always be the seafood sensation, which was imitation crab. On its own, not the worst thing. When combined with the other horrors available at Subway, it can turn into a real gut bomb. I've seen it combined with sweet onion sauce. Tuna, always gross amounts of mayo. Jalapenos. The worst was when toasted. This imitation crab would fluff and curdle under the toaster and stink up the whole store for hours. The one that takes the cake. Seafood sensation. Foot-long wheat, toasted, mayo, and crumbled up oatmeal raisin. My mom, RIP, used to get a tuna salad sub with black olives and onions, with meatballs and extra marinara for one of her coworkers. She told her coworker one day that she couldn't get it anymore cause it made her car smell bad after she passed. I ended up with her car. I swear sometimes on hot days, I can smell that nasty butt sandwich. Lol, it's been 5 years now. Oh boy, something I can answer. I used to work for Subway back in 2008 to 2010. And we had this dude that would come in 3 times a week. He rotated between 3 sandwich choices, each one truly grotesque. 1 foot-long white Italian bread, triple meat meatball sub, triple American cheese, not toasted, with mayo and sweet onion teriyaki sauce. 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. 2 foot-long white Italian bread, triple meat tuna, triple American cheese, double foot-long portion of bacon, toasted, tons of onions, extra mayo, 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. 3 foot-long Italian white bread, triple meat cold cut combo, triple American cheese, not toasted, loaded up with tons olives and onions. then extra mayo, sweet onion teriyaki, and honey mustard. 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. Closing his sandwiches was literally a daunting task, especially the meatball one because it was so slimy, and they cost so much even though back then they were all $5 each. Because he had triple everything on theme this year though, it was nice that he always got some tuna for his cat. The owner of the store wouldn't charge him for it usually because he was such a frequent customer. A guy in front of me in line ordered a tuna sandwich and then pulled out a Ziploc bag of grain sugar, asking if they'd put the sugar on top of all the tuna before roasting the sandwich. They did it, but I can't imagine caramelized tuna would be my choice of sandwich. I usually get my subs without sauce, and one time the employee looked at me with disgusted disbelief and asked, "Really?" Quote, "So apparently she thought it was gross, haha." We were across the road from a pub. A customer who'd been across the road all day came and ordered a meatball sub. He asked me to put every meat we had on it. Seafood, tuna, cold meats, the 4 different chickens we had at the time. Everything was an absolute female doggy to close and cost him something like $40 for one 6-inch sandwich IRC. He sat down inside and ate it all. Late to the party, but I feel like everyone needs to hear about the cheese man. This trucker comes in once or twice a week and orders a tuna sub. Before you put the tuna on, he wants the bread coated on both sides with mayo. Next the tuna, then the Swiss cheese. Double portion. Then cover the tuna in ranch. Then add 2 big handfuls of shredded cheese. Next more ranch. Then 2 bigger handfuls of shredded cheese. More ranch, you ask? Yes. The answer is always yes. Next is onions and green peppers. Toast it now while it weighs as much as a healthy newborn. More shredded cheese. Now 1 last quarter of a bottle of ranch. Please add a strip of light mayo before you wrap it. It was the nastiest, messiest pile of garbage I have ever seen, and I used to live in a ghetto. Customers who ask for copious amounts of mayonnaise, and specific flavors of it. When I used to work there was once this guy who told me, "I want the steak and cheese, but I want it with everything that I can get for free." He got it toasted with all the vegetable options. But the disgusting part is that when I asked him if he wanted any sauce on it, he said, "Which can I get for free?" Quote, I said, "Any." All of them, monsieur. This man made me squeeze every single sauce option on his sub. Every single one. I wrapped that thing so many times and the sauce still leaked through the paper. It was freaking disgusting. Not a Subway employee, nor is this really gross. But I was in line and the person behind me wanted only cookies inside an Italian roll, and they actually made it for him. There was a guy that would come in and ask for the seafood sensation, imitation crab, and add meatballs. Then he would ask for extra mayo. Disgusting. I quit a few months ago, but I was covering a shift at a different store. Guy wanted a tuna sandwich. No big deal. Then he wanted me to put steak on it. Okay, weird. Then he was like, "What is that?" while pointing at the veggie patties. He asked for that on it too. A tuna, steak, veggie patty sandwich. I don't remember the veggies, but he did get some. He gave me a $5 tip and his number. I never called him Monsieur in #X200B. The other one that was just fluffin' weird to me was someone ordering a meatball sub and then getting, like, an entire bottle of sweet onion sauce on it. It was so much fluffing sweet onion sauce. So much. When my husband goes to Subway, he gets a meatball sub. Extra cheese, mayo, and pickles. Super gross to me. He says it tastes like a hamburger. Foot-long meatball sub on flatbread, with every topping. Not only is it gross, it's basically uneatable. The entire flatbread was soaked with sauce and basically falling apart because it has every topping on it. I have so many stories about Subway. Not an employee, but my grandfather's usual, definitely qualifies. If the looks I get ordering it for him. He can't drive anymore. Or any indicator, flatbread with tuna, provolone cheese, tomato, onion, all 4 kinds of peppers, lettuce, and then smothered in chipotle sauce and vinaigrette. Toasted. The worst part is knowing they think it's for me. This is probably one of the best questions I've ever seen. It was a salad and the entire situation was gross, so this dude wearing tan and gold rimless sunglasses walked in and kept his sunglasses on. He tells me he wants a chopped salad. I don't remember the meat or veggies he asked for, but I do remember the toppings after reading my name tag. He asked for olive oil. As he peered at me over his glasses, he said, "I like it really wet, Lady Ad Luna," and licked his lips. I put in a whole bunch, but kept repeating how wet he liked it, asking for more oil. I put in at least half a bottle of oil. Then he goes on to say how he loves Parmesan cheese. Like a lot of it. I shook in a bunch of cheese, but he still wasn't satisfied. I was pissed off and creeped out at this point, so I took the lid off the cheese and dumped the entire shaker full into the bowl. He was fluffing thrilled. "Lady Ad Luna, you're the best. You make the best salad. No one anywhere else gets it like you do. You're perfect." He came back several times, asking for me, and if I was there, he refused to be served by anyone else. Eventually, my shift manager stood next to me while I made the salad so the dude couldn't make weird butt comments. He stopped coming in after that. I had a lady come in all the time and order a fluffing cold cut on white and then have me dump about a bottle and a half of light mayo on that garbage. Trying to close and wrap that garbage was a trip. Not sure if it was gross, but I had a guy who came in once in a week. Turkey sub on whole wheat, just mayo and 5 to 6 handfuls of jalapenos. I'm talking overflowing. He would sit in the store, no drink, and take it down. I watched a couple times and couldn't even see him sweat. It was impressive. I used to get people who would insist that I hide jalapenos in their buddies' subs under the cheese. Only did it once, to a bunch of college guys. Guy took it better than I would have. I gave him a replacement sub, no charge, to make it up to him. Sure, he thought it was an accident. Triple meat BLT with extra mayo. Hold the lettuce and tomato. Then argued with me that it wasn't enough bacon and wanted half the squeeze jar worth of mayo. This was at 2 p.m. and not a drunk request, as she was just fat and demanding. Does anyone remember that post a couple of years ago where a Subway employee asked for ideas of the grossest sandwich possible? I think the parameters were that the idea with the most karma after a few days would be made at a said date. The original post made the front page by a long shot. Subsequently, so did the picture of the winning grossest sandwich. Ooh, I can answer this one. I have a list and here are some of the highlights. Once had a girl come in and ask for a veggie salad. Pretty simple. And as I was putting it to her out of nowhere, she asked if I could warm up her salad. She said she had sensitive teeth. I stood there dumbfounded for like several minutes, as she was like 15 and I thought she was joking. I said, "So like in the microwave?" Quote. She said yes. So this girl wanted me to put her salad into the microwave. It had no meat, just lettuce, tomatoes, and onions. I wanted to throw up just the idea of wilted lettuce. But I did it. This one young girl wanted a tuna sub. Again, easy order. Just tuna, no cheese, and not toasted, with just mayo. Well, she wanted extra mayo and we emptied 1.5 bottles of mayo. The tuna salad already has quite a bit of mayo in it. This thing was dripping with mayo and was mostly just a mayo sandwich at that point. TL, Dr. A microwaved salad and a full bottle of mayo sandwich. Man, I just want to give a shout out to the Subway employees here. Working in restaurants, I've had to deal with special requests, but this is some next level hospitality you guys are displaying with creating these monstrosities. Asked for a veggie delight, proceeded to omit all veggies but did all the types of meat. Not mention it was disgusting to look at, but it was sure expensive for them with the add-on prices. Worked at a Subway for a good while and boy do I have stories. I think the funniest and strangest gross sub was also the most expensive. This little old Asian woman and her obese Asian grandson. I assumed she was like 80 plus and he was like 10 at most. Ordered only food for him and a bag of chips for her. I specify Asian because Asian people are typically smaller in stature and these two were no different. Save for the kid's obesity. She wanted a foot long. And everything. So I asked her what meat. Everything. So I spent like a solid minute making absolutely sure she wanted every meat, because there was a bit of a language barrier. I started putting meats on one at a time, looking at her and making sure she wanted me to continue. She kept waving us go on gesture at me. I put every meat we had on the sub. I tried to articulate it was going to be very expensive and she didn't give a fluff and waved a $100 bill at me. So I was like alright. Meat Boy wanted like 5 cheeses and some avocado, mayo and pickles on it. He ate the whole fluffing thing in one sitting. It took him like 40 minutes but he did it. I can't remember how much it cost but it was fluffing expensive, something like $60 to $80. Somewhere in that ballpark range. The second grossest sub was a guy who asked me to grill onions in the back and I told him we don't have a grill. So he wanted me to microwave them as your so I did. They were wilted and slimy. He had me put them on the sub, and then dump a bunch of lettuce on, and then toast it. Literally just an Italian bread sub with microwaved onions and lettuce that had been through the toaster oven. He added a garbage load of sweet onion sauce and enough pepper to coat the counter, and then paid. I have a ton of stories about Subway. I almost got punched once. I had some gorgeous Kenyan women come in wearing full Kenyan traditional dress, speaking Afrikaans because my coworker and I love to hear them speak it because it's such a beautiful language. I had a pregnant lady come in and then cry and buy me cookies because I held the register open and spent 20 minutes of my time making her a full bag's worth of chicken noodle soup because it was her pregnancy craving for like a week and no other place but our location sold it. Working at Subway was wild. Numerous strange combinations involving the tuna. That stuff is disgusting to begin with.